The darkness within, a journey to self-awareness. Carl Jung once said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." The truth is, within every person lies a part of themselves they would rather not face. Uncontrollable anger, insatiable desires, fears they dare not name. We take pride in our kindness, yet we're startled by the way a single moment of frustration can consume us. We believe ourselves to be rational, yet one offhanded comment can send us into a spiral of resentment. These powerful emotions don't simply disappear because we suppress them. Instead, they linger in our dreams, surface in unexpected outbursts, and silently shape the way we see the world. Acknowledging our darkness is not an act of defeat, it is an act of courage. We like to define ourselves as good, kind, generous. But what happens when rage flares up, jealousy sneaks in, or resentment takes root? We panic. We label these emotions as wrong and bury them deeper. But the truth is, they are not our enemies. They are parts of us we have yet to understand. Imagine someone who prides themselves on being calm and collected, yet snaps over a minor criticism. Or someone who values humility, yet feels uneasy when another person is praised. These moments aren't accidents. They are echoes of the shadow self, reminders of the things we deny, but that quietly influence our lives. As Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." But here's the real lesson. If we are brave enough to confront our darkness instead of avoiding it, we can transform it into something valuable. When we acknowledge our capacity for envy, selfishness, and anger, we no longer become slaves to these emotions. Instead, we learn to control and channel them. Darkness is not to be feared. The real danger is living your entire life without ever understanding yourself. There is an uncomfortable truth. Within every person exists hidden corners, intense emotions, desires, and fears we would rather ignore. We like to think of ourselves as kind, selfless, and strong. But then, a moment of unexpected anger shakes us. A wave of jealousy creeps in. A selfish thought crosses our mind. That is the shadow self, not something to be ashamed of, but something to be acknowledged. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." If we do not recognize our own darkness, it will show up in the moments we least expect. An explosive reaction to a minor insult, an invisible fear that holds us back from an opportunity, an insecurity that pushes away those we love. But if we look at our shadowy fire with curiosity instead of fear, we can turn it into strength. Integrating our darkness does not mean indulging in negativity. It means understanding and mastering it. When we confront our fears, we become braver. When we acknowledge our capacity for selfishness, we learn to be more forgiving of both ourselves and others. And when we stop seeing darkness as the enemy, but rather as an essential part of who we are, we gain true freedom to live honestly, powerfully, and without fear. Darkness is not only present within individuals, it exists in societies as well. Like forgotten memories, collective shadows manifest as prejudice, resentment, and pain that communities try to suppress. But buried wounds do not heal. When ignored for too long, they erupt in the form of violence, injustice, and division. History has shown us time and time again that the greatest tragedies of humankind, wars, oppression, discrimination, did not come from nature or fate, but from humanity's refusal to confront its own darkness. But darkness is not only destructive. When we have the courage to face it, to acknowledge past mistakes, seek reconciliation, and learn from pain, it becomes a priceless teacher. A society can only move forward when it is willing to look back with honesty, to accept its shadows, and to use them as fuel for change. When individuals embark on this path, light grows stronger than darkness. The shadow self is not something to fear, but something to integrate. Only when we accept both our light and our darkness do we truly become whole. For far too long, people have tried to suppress their most extreme emotions, anger, jealousy, ambition, as if they were flaws to be ashamed of. But the truth is, these emotions don't just disappear. They wait in the shadows, growing stronger, waiting for a moment of weakness to take control. But what happens if we stop running from them? What if we face them head-on? We realize that the things we once feared about ourselves are not just our flaws, but also our untapped potential. A person who has always suppressed their anger might discover a hidden strength to protect themselves and their loved ones. Someone who once feared ambition might realize that the desire to grow is not selfish, but a